Glass is in session. We go to the Glasser guest line, check in with our guy, Chase Kiddy, who joins us, BetMGM writer. Give Chase a follow on X, at Chase A. Kiddy. All right, Chase, we have made it to week one, my friend, and we got some good games tomorrow, got some good games on Friday as well. Anything that you've already bet, just looking at the Thursday, Friday slate, any action for you any of those days?
Baylor money line against Auburn, probably my favorite bet of the early 2 days of action. I think you're paying an SEC price here. I think if you actually look at what Baylor's roster is, what they brought back, look at what they did in the second half of last year when they really, I think, turned a page and put some things together. I think that's the team you're going to see this year that competes at the top of the Big 12. I think they are straight up better than Auburn. They're playing at home. They know they can take a shot at the big old SEC. So I like getting the plus money here. I think they should be favored. The other two games I would look at, I have small positions on these, but I'm not breaking the bank or anything. A stat I have talked about a lot this summer that I did a full dive into is what happens when you have road teams in these big, massive cross-country trips. And the short version is if you are a road favorite crossing multiple time zones in 2024, you went 10-19-1 against the spread with 9 outright upsets. So 2 games, actually, Thursday and Friday, fall into this category. That's Boise State going to South Florida and Georgia Tech going to Colorado. So I have small positions on South Florida plus 6.5 and Colorado plus 4.5.
All right, very nice. Yeah, 2 of the games looking forward to on Thursday and Friday. Nebraska-Cincinnati should be a good one as well. Looking at Saturday and Sunday, Chase, obviously everybody's going to dive into the 3 top 10 matchups. You have Ohio State and Texas. You have Clemson and LSU, the battle of the Death Valleys, and then Notre Dame and Miami on Sunday. Just want to get your overall thoughts. If we're looking at those 3 games, what would be your favorite play in any of those top 10 matchups? If you just had to play one thing, what would be your best bet?
I think Clemson minus the 3.5. I'm pretty high on Clemson this year. I have them sprinkled throughout a lot of different futures markets. So I think Brian Kelly has not been great in week one. I'm a Brian Kelly defender, so I don't want to make it sound like I'm piling on, but he hasn't been great in week one. LSU hasn't been great in week one in general, even before he was there. So I think that's a trend if you're like a trends better kind of person. I just think Clemson's the better team. I think it's going to be an awesome game to watch. I've seen a lot of people just, they're not interested in the side. They want to bet the over with 2 Heisman front runners playing a quarterback on each team. So I get that side of it as well. I'm pretty comfortable laying the 3 in the hook.
What about looking at those 3 matchups again, Chase? If you had to pick an underdog, would you rather back Miami or would you rather back Texas this week?
Texas, why are they even a dog in this game? Here's a thought exercise. If we started the 12-team playoff this year instead of last year, Ohio State doesn't even make the playoffs last year, let alone win the national championship because they were a 2-loss non-conference champion. So if that happens, if we just delay the 12-team playoff by 1 year, what's the point spread in this game? Because it's not Ohio State laying points. And this has been moving toward Texas all week. I think for that reason, the fact that you're just paying a national championship tax, despite the fact that the roster is nowhere near what it looked like last year. They lost 15 draft picks plus Will Howard. It's a totally different team. Texas is the better team. I don't know why they're plus 100 in the money line. I don't know why they've been catching points all week. It's kind of silly.
I agree with you. It just makes me nervous, man. It feels like everybody's on Texas. They're still dogs. Ohio State's at home. Should be a fun one. The other matchup, Chase, Notre Dame and Miami. I really don't have a strong thought on that game. It feels like they are daring you to take the Irish, right? Coming off the national title game, Marcus Freeman against Cristobal. The Irish, I mean, they're returning a lot outside of obviously the true freshman quarterback, C.J. Carr, who's going to be under center. It feels to me like Notre Dame's a little too easy, which is why I'm hesitant on that game. Any thoughts for you on Miami, Notre Dame?
I just think the weapon that Notre Dame has that nobody really talks about is Mike Denbrock. I think he's probably the best OC in college football right now. And wow. I think stuff like that, I'm not going to say it's not priced in, but when it seems like it's so easy for Notre Dame, like I kind of lean back on that and think, yeah, well, maybe it is that easy if you have arguably the best OC. And when has Miami in recent history given us a lot of confidence that they can do this in big marquee non-conference games. So I'm not betting that game. I don't have a position, but if I was, it would be Notre Dame.
We're talking college football week one with our guy Chase Kiddy here on Send It In. Give Chase a follow on X at Chase A Kiddy. Make sure you guys check out all the content, all the articles he gives you at BetMGM. Chase, let's look outside of the top 10 matchups that we have for Saturday, Sunday as well, or even Monday. What are some of your best bets on the rest of your card that you have?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is where I have to double down on your plug here. This is what I'm really good at is finding the dregs of college football and college basketball and digging some good bets out of it. So I would check out the week one bets column, which is linked to on my Twitter and is prominently displayed on BetMGM's blog, The Roar. New Mexico, Michigan, under 49.5. I bet this at 50.5 maybe a week and a half ago. I would still take it at 49.5. Georgia, minus whatever the number is. I don't even care. Right now, it's 39.5 at BetMGM. If it was 42.5, I'd probably lay 42.5. I think they're going to kill this Marshall team. And I'll, we can circle back to that maybe in a second on a different topic. But Georgia minus the number, I almost don't even care what it is. And one other one that I'll give out, you should go over to check out the blog piece for the rest of them. Indiana is minus 23.5 right now. I've seen Kurt Cignetti abuse Old Dominion more than once in my storied career in Harrisonburg. I think he's probably going to do it again. So I'm comfortable laying 23.5. I got this at 22.5. 23.5 is probably where I would get off the boat. Once it goes to 24, I'm done.
I'm glad you chose those games too, Chase, because it's a good reminder. In week one, you're going to see a lot of big numbers, but more often than not, those teams tend to cover those big numbers. They're that big for a reason. Let's look at some futures, some win totals that you like for the upcoming season. Just give me one or two, your favorites for the entire year. What would be a win total that you love?
I like over Oklahoma, 7.5. It's plus 110, and that's good value. I like Houston over 6.5 at plus 110. I think it's good value. The favorite, though, I don't think it's the best bet from an ROI perspective, but my favorite is Akron under 4.5. You've got to pay a big vig, but I'm just obsessed with this number and this team and this win total because Akron, it's too hard to try to explain the whole thing on here. Just go look at their schedule. They don't have a bye this year. They don't have what you would call a bye. They've got an off week at the very end of the season and one of those weird MAC weeks where they don't play on Saturday, but they do play on Tuesday. So they have like 8.5 days off instead of 7 days off. They functionally don't have a bye. It's a team that's academically ineligible because of APR violations. So I'm fascinated by if they can get to 5 wins. I don't think they can. I'm on the under. But it is a really soft schedule. So it's such a fascinating bet. And I'm going to be watching it weirdly obsessed every week with Akron football.
I mean, they have 9 straight games to start the season, Chase, without a scheduled bye. And then, as you mentioned, they really don't even have one throughout the season. What about your favorite conference future? All the conferences in college football, you had to bet somebody to win their league. What would it be?
I cannot believe we're a day away from week one games, and Southern Miss hasn't been a bigger topic. I really thought it was going to come up once we got to August and people started digging in. Charles Huff takes his entire Sun Belt winning Marshall team, basically, and moves them to Southern Miss, and they're 25-1 to win the conference. They are better now than they were last year because they added some nice FCS All-American kind of pieces to the roster that already won the Sun Belt last year. He took the whole team, and he moved it to Southern Miss, and they're 25-1 because Will Hall's Southern Miss team sucked the last 4 years. So it blows my mind that we haven't talked about this more because it's one of the crazier things that happened this last offseason.
I think it's a good case and a good price, 25-1 on the Golden Eagles. Heisman Trophy pick from you, Chase Kiddy. Who do you like to win the Heisman?
Kind of boring, but I like Drew Aller and Cade Klubnik at the top of near the top of the market. I think those are the guys. I think Arch Manning is going to be priced out because of the last name all year. So maybe he ends up winning it, but I think it's hard to make a betting case for buying in at the top of the market on a name that's juiced, let alone a campaign that's juiced. At price, I think the best bet is actually Dante Moore right now, who's 30-1 at BetMGM. Oregon's quarterback has been Heisman relevant pretty much every year the last 3 or 4 seasons. And it's easy to say now, well, Bo Nix is an NFL quarterback. Well, Dylan Gabriel is on the roster with the Cleveland Browns. When those guys went to Oregon, we did not think a lot of them, and they were Heisman finalists. that were very, very short prices for a lot of the season. So I think it's reasonable to think that something like that can happen again with Dante Moore. And to get him right now at 30-1, I think is a great buy point. I think you're going to have CLV if nothing else. And then you'll maybe have some hedge options when we see who emerges from this deep class of Heisman quarterback potentials.
Chase, before we let you go, who wins it all this year? Who's your national champion in college football?
I'm kind of down to Penn State, Georgia, and Clemson. Those are the three I like. They're all kind of short prices, so pick who you like. I think I'm probably going to go with Penn State because I think they have the easier schedule and the easier path to the number 1 seed relative to Georgia. And then I do think it would be weird if Clemson jumped all the way to national champion after the last 5 or 6 years. So I'll go with Penn State, Final Four run last year. But I would not be surprised if it's Clemson or Georgia either.
Oh, another one on the Penn State bandwagon, Chase. Me and you both. Can't wait to roll with James Franklin this season. Should be non-sweat, very fun. Chase Kiddy, give him a follow on X at Chase A Kiddy. BetMGM writer joins us each and every Wednesday. Chase, enjoy week 1, my friend. See you next week.
I will. You too, PJ.